Welcome to the Cafe Night Show. Host the Goldsmith. It is the 28th of January, 2025, and we are celebrating or getting ready for the start of the frost season, and that is the big announcement for the day. Some important things to look at in the frost season announcement, including some changes that Upland has learned from the last season. The idea that the frost season 2025 is the first season that is being repeated. It is the start of the second year of actually having seasons. This is something we started last year with frost season 2024. We ran through an entire year. We ran through 6 seasons, and now we're back at the start again. And Upland had done some iterative things and changing what was happening in each season. And even from last season to this season, there's some pretty big changes. And there's still some questions because Upland's talking about surprises and not giving out all the secrets. But we will get into the announcement. We'll see what the differences are from last season to this season, what we're looking at, leaving Wonderland season, moving into Frost season. And a reminder, if you haven't been paying attention or haven't been thinking much about it, Frost season does start this coming Saturday, the 1st of February. So get ready. Again, this announcement is not too soon. It's not too late. It gives you a couple days to think about it and a couple days to get ready for the new season. So we'll get into the announcement and a flash challenge. And key on this flash challenge, we'll get into the details. We'll tell you what to do. But key in the flash challenge is, as we've seen with other flash challenges, Upland is pushing these flash challenges in Discord. So if you're not in the Upland Discord, now's a good time to get in if you can. The challenges, again, move back to Discord from in-game Upland. That was the attempt, and from Twitter, which was an attempt at a certain point. But again, emphasizing Discord once more. To get into all that, before we do so, let's get the disclaimer out of the way, because there are some things here pertaining to sales coming up we'll talk about for sure. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy advice. Shouldn't be taken as financial advice. They don't represent the game of the team of Upland. Any guests or contributors we do have on, they have their own opinions. They should be taken as their own opinions. They were glad to have them. They're glad to see them, but they are theirs and theirs alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of Upland, the team of Upland, myself, the Goldsmith of the Cafe Nightly Show. Easy enough. So let's get back to where we always are this time of a month, or this time of the no man's land between seasons, and that is, how are we structuring the next season? What are the gamified challenges? What are the rewards? And what are going to be the challenges throughout the season that ties the season together? Maybe we got a theme going for a season. We have all those announcements when one place right now. We know more announcements are coming. We know there's some things that Upland hasn't told us yet, but there is plenty in the announcement released today for Frost season. And again, we've seen some of these cut the wire right at the end of the 11th hour, right before the season starts. But thank you, Upland, for giving us a couple days to sit with this. Introducing Frost season 2025 in Upland. Ice Dragons in the Mojave. And in the Mojave, Ice Dragons. So we have a theme and we have a place. This is key. This is key because we've kind of had this first idea of iterative of having a place we're tied to during a season. Kind of had it a little bit with New Orleans. That wasn't so much the season itself, but it was an event, a build-up event going on for New Orleans. It does keep running until the big game, so another week here. But this is something that is kind of interesting with using a season, tying it to a place. That way we can have contests in a specific city, and we have a theme. And the theme, surprise, surprise, this is one of the first ones that Upland's really done a good job with, and I really do appreciate it, is the theme is Ice Dragons for Frost season. That seems to make sense. We talk about ice during a Frost season. Oh, wow, what a tie-in. We're not talking about cogs and gears and steampunk for summer or for spring. It doesn't have to be a stretch of the imagination to tie the two together. It is a little bit of a fantasy, a little bit of a story outside of, it's just winter, but it has a link, a very clear link, and I hope Upland continues on with this. It makes the commemoration, it makes the time of year, the point we're at, make a lot more sense. So let's take a look a little more about this announcement. Again, Mix of challenges, events, rewards, and some changes from what we've seen in the past. This season's hub of Frosty action is none other than Las Vegas, Nevada, again, Mojave Desert. It may be nestled in the Mojave Desert, but it is in this vibrant city. It is a perfect place, a perfect background for the Ice Dragon adventures. In response to player feedback, we're making an important adjustment for Frost Season 2025. There's going to be fewer season-long events, and in place of season-long events, we're going to have isolated events, shorter period of time frame windows. So we're not doing things for 45 days or 40 days. We're doing things over a shorter period of time. So we'll get into that and what that might mean, and also acknowledge that there's some more details that aren't here and will be coming later. So head on over to the link below to learn more about season-long challenges and the time challenges that are being introduced during this Frost season. And of course, some info on the Sparklet Wars. The first thing we have to say is congratulations to everybody who was a participant of the pre-TGE Sparklet airdrops, because there was airdrops that were happening. We had a total of 6. We had during 3 separate seasons. We saw those get dropped through, and we saw them happen. And for those who participated, congratulations to you. You got a decent amount of Sparklet along the way. Those 6 were defined. These were happening during a period of time, and end of Wonderland season was the last of those airdrops, again commemorating TGE, but rewarding those who had earned Sparklet prior to TGE and then kept it in the game. We're not going to see those type of airdrops this season. At least don't expect it to be the case. We do have another airdrop that's coming up for the build-up event in New Orleans, and we could very well see more Sparklet-driven events, events that reward people with Sparklet for being competitive and winning, like we just saw for Sparklet Wars, like we are currently seeing for the New Orleans build-up event and the New Orleans Race to the Big Game Challenge, between 2 separate challenges, 2 separate pools of Sparklet. We see that that's going to get paid out for people who are participating and building up in New Orleans. So that is going to be something that we'll likely see continued activity on. But just a reminder that the airdrops we've seen previous seasons, you have one that snapshots at the end of the month, and then one that on the 15th of the very, very end of the season. That's not going to be something we're going to see this season, so just keep that in mind. But there's plenty else going on. Starting in Frost Season 2025, we'll be kicking off every season with an overview post to share the key events and updates as we look forward. Again, this is key. We're at the beginning of the season. We know what to look forward to. There's, not everything spelled out. We have some level of 3,000-foot view of what to expect this Frost season. While we'll keep a few surprises in store, this post will outline the main event so you can plan your strategies. Keep an eye out for standalone activities and accomplishments and announcements to learn more, with more details as each event approaches. Frost City's Las Vegas, Nevada. A little bit of irony there. Maybe our city to host the Frost season is probably one of the hotter cities in the game of Upland at this time. This season's hub of Frosty action is none other than Las Vegas, Nevada. It may be nestled in the Mojave Desert, but this vibrant city is the perfect backdrop for Ice Dragon adventures. Most of the season's events will center around Las Vegas, so be sure to focus your efforts here. Again, with this moving concentration of effort from city to city, with season to season, I like this idea. I like the idea that we can make a city special for at least 40 days. And for those 40 days or 45 days that we make that city special, it does boost the market, does a lot of things, but it also concentrates activity in the game. So the player base can be putting the majority of their activity in one place. You can kind of see whatever the player base is, whether or not we have a true 50,000 daily active users. I don't think that's quite the correct number on a average basis, but whether or not we have 30 or 40 or 50,000 daily active users, whether or not those people primarily just sign on for 2 minutes or whether they play for a long time, if you concentrate that activity, you're going to see more of that action in one place. You're going to see more player versus player, or more player helping player, all in the same city. And I'm looking forward to that. Kiro, Ice in the Desert. Absolutely. Ice in the Desert is the theme. And And you think about it, it can get chilly in the desert for a couple minutes. Gets nice and cold. When parts of the desert when you don't have any sun heating things up, you don't have the moisture to hold it in, you don't have the cloud cover to hold it in. So sometimes you get those chilly nights out in the desert, but not so much in Vegas. Nice 75, 80, 90 degrees most of the summer, right through the evening. So yes, very, very, very hot city to celebrate frost season in. And right now it is their winter, but it's not quite as cold as one might expect for frost season. By shifting the focus to time challenges from these season-long events, again, Upland said fewer season-long, more time challenges, we aim to keep the action fresh, dynamic, and engaging throughout the season. This goes right along with the idea of centering the action in one city. Is you're going to put more activity in one area. You're going to put more activity over a shorter period of time. People can be more engaged for a week than they are for 45 days. You don't have people trying to cram at the end of an event because it's a short enough period that people are participating and active throughout the entire event. A few longer challenges will still be available, but they'll be complemented by a steady stream, and that is highlighted. And I appreciate the fact that it is bold, steady stream of timed events to keep you on your toes, because that means that if you have one event at the end, okay, well, for a couple days, or you have one event for the whole season, okay, you have people who are going to be more active in that event towards the end. It's not exciting for certain people because it's not happening. Not everyone's participating at once, and it's too long of a period for people to really actually put a lot of effort in. But when you're talking about a stream of activities, if you're talking about one activity for a week and then a separate activity for a week and then a separate activity for a week, that keeps the energy level up. And that also means that if you're not happy with one event or you're not competitive in one event's not right for you, one could be right around the corner that is. So if this is what we're going to be moving forward to or forward with on a seasonal basis, I look forward to it. We'll see how it plays out. And again, Upland still has the ability to adapt and correct for the things that are successful and the things that aren't. Season-long challenges. Again, there are some season-long challenges still built in play. And then I'm going to point out one season-long challenge that isn't mentioned. And it's important that's not mentioned because it ties into a whole ecosystem in Upland that was said to be important. And again, Upland has a chance to make this ecosystem important as well. But there is a big omission I see here. Here are the season-long challenges you can expect for Frost Season 2025. Stay tuned for detailed announcements about each of these events. Season-long racing, a unified leaderboard for championship contenders and all other racers. We already have seen this season after season. This is something that Upland's promised to do every season throughout the year, moving towards a championship at the end of the year for the top tier racing category. So that makes sense. I mean, Upland wasn't going to get rid of racing. Otherwise, they'd be getting rid of racing. If it wasn't a season-long event, it would be deprioritized. And we know that Upland's trying to make racing important in the game. Season Collector Score Challenge. This is something that Upland just introduced last season, and why would they abandon it so soon? So this is something that is going to be, again, second season that we're doing this, but we will be doing this. Season Collector Score Challenge. Prove your skills in collecting the season's most coveted assets. We remember from our last season that it is really important to earn badges. So earn all the badges you can in the season, and you're going to help push yourself towards the top of that list for the leaderboard at the end of the season. Gamified earnings. Showcase your strategy in earning game rewards. Again, gamified earnings are key. That is what multiplies your dividends. Upland went to a model quite a while ago, over a year ago. Now went to a model, move towards a model where you are completing activities. Those activities, as you complete them, are going to earn you points. Those points points are going to go into determining what your multiplier is of a really baseline dividend. That is a return on a annual basis as a percentage of your current holding in UPX value properties. So that is something that has been evolving, or it's been kind of static, but it was evolving for a period of time, and it's something we've had going for a while. So that's what we're going to continue to see. Complete activities by showing you're active in the game of Upland, you get a higher dividend over time. So that's a key thing. well, we got to talk about the omission. The omission is the ornament challenge. We can have short-term ornament challenges. Upland can do ornament challenges in a different way. Upland can say, hey, we forgot to tell you about the season-long ornament challenge. These are all possibilities. But as of right now, the ornament challenge is not listed. This is a ecosystem in and of itself. It is a type of meta venture. It is a type of UGC meta venture. It is one of the types of UGC meta venture that is most visible because having a structure ornament on your structure is a display that people can see in the game. It's a large display. It's one of the largest assets or largest items of display that you can show in the game. So yeah, of course, structural ornaments are something that we should celebrate, especially on the UGC side, and something that Upland's talked about celebrating. That's why they talked about doing these season-long ornament challenges, and it seemed like it was more or less a permanent fixture of the seasons. We can make a lot of conclusions about whether or not it is the best thing to have, or the best competition, or if it's actually competitive and distributed between players, or if there's the same people who end up being competitive season after season. We've seen that Upland moved this idea of ornament challenge to a specific city from being global, around the world. So we've seen that happen. That happened last season. And again, the omission this season, it seems pretty stark, but at the same time, if it was the same people, which it was the same people, if it was the same people who are at the top leaderboard every time, how engaging was that for the overall community? That's kind of a question. And as we move around in this season, if people had built up their stockpiles from a previous year, and again, because this is our second go around of seasons throughout the year, and they're sitting on them from last year, well, now it's really going to compound. It's going to be the same people who are competitive one year to the next, and that would be a way of rewarding people who are extremely active for sure. The question is that Upland centric? Is that something Upland's looking to have and to emphasize? I don't know. I don't know if that's where this comes from, or if ultimately it was just a certain number of season-long activities. We'll have more timed activities, timed challenges that happen throughout the season, and this is just one that didn't make the cut. We'll see how this works. We'll see how many people have a concern with it, but ultimately, still plenty of reason to ornament or to decorate with structured ornaments to show off your season's pride or show off what's going on for the season, to highlight your neighborhood. And theoretically, there'll be other points or other opportunities to decorate. And we'll get into one that is pretty obvious right here. These limited time challenges, again, they do not run all season. They are going to keep activity throughout the season, and one ends and another starts. So that's kind of going to be an opportunity for one person to find their perfect activity, and maybe they don't like them all, but they'll find the one they like, and they can participate over that week period or whatever that timed period is. Challenge to collect them all. The collect them all challenge. Collect all 3 of the upcoming season passes to unlock the exclusive collector version. Okay. That doesn't seem like a real big challenge. It's not very player versus player. It doesn't seem very player versus player. It doesn't seem very leaderboard-esque. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of time and activity and strategy, but it's something. The dates on that run January 30th through February 28th. So, okay, that's not really timed. That feels more like a season long. It's not quite the whole season, but it's the majority of it. So, time challenge, okay. Let's take a look at some other ones. Property decor contest. Show off your decorating skills with this creative contest and decorate your Vegas properties. This runs from the 6th of February to February 13th. Now, this is timed. That's a short window. It's a short enough window to keep people engaged. It gives people enough time to think about things, buy in the secondary, move things around, iterate, make it better, have their friends tell them what they like, what they don't like, and make that a better display. Look at other people's displays and try to beat the displays that other people put out. That's a fun challenge. We've already had one. We had one in Tokyo during our last season, during the Wonderland season, and people enjoyed it. People seemed to enjoy it. The winners were winners. They put together a good display. It wasn't just the number of assets that won. It was the display. It's how good it looked. So really appreciate that structure and how that contest worked. Taking a contest that worked and moving that forward. Keeping in mind this ends up being a judge contest, so you might not agree, might be subjective as far as what the winners are, but again, I like the idea that aesthetics matter in this contest, and it's not just a matter of spend the most money and win. Road Trip Challenge. This was exciting. This was exciting that we had this happen. The reality on the Road Trip Challenge is it was a lot of work, and the winners won. The winners won. They didn't just happen to happen. They put the effort and time in. They strategized before they started the race. They missed sleep or scheduled their sleep schedule around this race, knowing when they would be able to fuel their cars, when they would have to get their car traveling to the next city. They had to plan this out, and it was a 13 plus hour activity, which means you were involved for quite a number of hours, and maybe stayed up through the whole thing, or at the very least changed when your alarm clock went off so you could get back up and get back to it. Embark on this thrilling virtual road trip through key destinations and challenges. I like the idea that this engages multiple cities. I like the idea that this is a competition that isn't won by the fastest car. It's not won by somebody who has a certain skill set in racing. Yes, skill set in racing helps, but it's somebody who is able to put effort in. And again, there's plenty of these challenges, this being one of them, that if you're somebody who's working during the event, you're probably not going to participate if you're in the type of position where you can't take 5 minutes at a specific time. You might be busy for a 2-hour period straight, and you can't stop and take a break inside that 2-hour period. Well, yeah, unfortunately, this may not be an activity you're going to be the most competitive in, but it is exciting the way that it is determined. Again, the idea that your activities, how you participate, your planning, they all matter. The dates on that are going to be the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's Day. That's running through the 20th of February. Again, a short period of time when people can concentrate. And once that event's done, on to the next one. As we saw, the other one ran for 13 hours. Maybe this is structured a little differently. And if it is, that's fine. That's great. I like the idea of this challenge, of this engagement, using an asset. Again, you do have to own a car, but using an asset that we own in the game, rewarding people, or having people opt into this challenge based on what assets they choose to hold and choose to own, and then taking that to the next level of maybe it's better to have one car versus the other. The cool thing about last season or last road race was it wasn't the fastest car of all that wins. It was a car that balanced fuel consumption and fuel and speed or acceleration. That tends to be the winner on this challenge. And if that's the case, then it's direct pay to win. There is the reality of the activity, the input that people make to the output, to what they actually do at the end. Season-long ornament challenge. Okay. So the season-long ornament challenge is being done, like I said, it's done different because previously we had a weekly basis and a season-long basis. This was something that would run from the very beginning of the season to the very end. We instead take that from being a season-long event, and as we mentioned, we're shifting it. We're shifting it to one of these timed shorter period of time seasonal events. Again, not the entire season, a portion of it. Seasonal Ornament Challenge. Compete for points in this seasonal decorative event. It does run from the 20th of February to March 6th. Again, much shorter period of time than our previous ornament contest was set. And again, our previous ornament contest, they had both weekly and end of season awards. We're not seeing that likely to happen this season. Please note all dates are subject to change if necessary to ensure the best possible experience. Let's keep in mind the reason why Upland has made some of these changes is because people had multiple times when Upland had asked, what can we do to make seasons more fun and more effective? They made suggestions, and some of these seem to come out from some of those suggestions. And I do like the idea of specific events that happen during specific times that engage certain players in the game. More people will participate overall if you have a variety of activities that engage a greater variety of Upland players, as opposed to here's the 2 activities you have. Enjoy. If you enjoy, if you don't enjoy, hide in the corner. Let's get everybody and get involved, and hopefully people diversify a little bit, but people aren't going to be in every single event because they don't have every single asset. And that's the reality of Upland and where we are now. And having that variety, I see having that variety as a way of engaging a larger variety of Upland players. New seasonal structures, of course. We've done this before. But it's fun. It's fun to have these seasonal structures because you can build it during a specific season. You can keep them long term. You have to start during the season. And it's a way of adding variety to the game of Upland. It's a way of commemorating the season. If you were in the game during the season, you couldn't have this structure. If you want the structure and you weren't in the game during the season, you have to buy it in the secondary. That's simple. From February 1st until March 15th, players in Las Vegas can construct limited-time unique structures exclusive to the Frost season of 2025. Don't miss your chance to build these unique assets before they disappear. We don't have a lot of details on these, but we can see what we can see. Here's 3 structures. One of them looks like a modified version of a ranch, but ooh, look at that. It looks like it's not a ranch anymore. It looks like it's a contemporary story and a half here. That'd be kind of fun to see how that plays out. And then we have 2 different types of towers here. One of them may be akin to a apartment building. It looks like it does in terms of scale. It looks like maybe a special apartment building. And this looks to me like a townhouse that we have in the game. Whether or not that comes out to be a small townhouse or a full townhouse, hard to tell right now, but scale-wise, it looks like it may be a full townhouse. Sparklet Wars Round 2. We're thrilled to announce that Round 2 of Sparklet Wars Beta is coming to Vegas. Upland still calling Sparklet Wars a beta. They're still looking to improve the way that game works, the way Sparklet Wars works, but hopefully learning some lessons from last Sparklet Wars. We've already talked about it. We've talked about ways to make it better. Upland's put out a request for suggestions, and I'll say it again. Have people randomly assigned on teams, and then those teams work together. More Cheese put that out there. It is one of the best ideas of improvement of any activity in Upland that I have heard or thought about or seen or had a player bring up, because, again, that was the biggest thing. The biggest thing was, do we want this to be about who can make a plan before the game starts or how they operate as a team once the game starts? And for me, the latter definitely makes more sense. The idea of getting your team and then work together and make the results happen. And we'll see how Upland does this. Again, details aren't here. More details to come. Stay tuned for updates as we prepare for the competition and next level in the entertainment capital of the world. So we know that Frost season is going to center in Las Vegas. We know that Sparklet Wars Round 2 is also centered in Las Vegas. So if you want to participate in Sparklet Wars, if you like Sparklet Wars, if you didn't like Sparklet Wars, but you hope Upland does things enough different that it's more fun, this is your opportunity to start thinking about what you own for properties in Las Vegas. This is opportunities for you to speculate. Again, it's your speculation, not mine. To speculate about what structures may or may not be important in Las Vegas. So you might start building those structures so you have them potentially for structure ornaments if that's something that is in play this season again. So I would love to see this evolution. I would love to see, with a little bit of heads up notice, again, knowing that we got about a month and a half notice before next Spark Wars, that we have this idea that people can kind of plan, strategize, and maybe they're making guesses that are incorrect. Maybe those guesses are right on the money. So it is something that Upland's encouraging. Lightning Leg, good to see you. Glad you could make it. So we are headed into Frost season. With Frost season 2025, we're turning up the heat. Look at that. Talk about irony. Or should we say cooling things down with the incredible lineup of challenges and events. Stay frosty, Uplanders, and get ready to dominate Las Vegas with the power of the Ice Dragon. Let the season begin. So this is a season that we're going to see a cosmetic pass here shortly, but the theme actually ties to the season. I've said it before. I've been concerned. I've said, well, who came up with this idea? I like this idea. I like the idea that every time you do a dragon-esque thing or frozen fire or you represent a dragon that is blue and icy, you are going to be saying, oh, that reminds me of Frost Season. Even though it's a dragon, it reminds me of Frost Season, of cold, of ice. That's kind of fun. They took the idea that it is the frost season of the year, frost season period of the year. It is winter, but that Upland's also a global game, and it's not icy in the entire world. So they took a hot area, and they're celebrating the cold part of the year in the hot area. Kind of fun. I like the idea. I like what they're doing there. And I like that they're going to move around from city to city. They're going to make cities special for a period of time. That it doesn't have to be tier ones. People haven't said, let's do Sparklet Wars only in tier ones. That's what people have said. And there's plenty of tier 2, tier 3 cities that have a good distribution of properties. They have a number of properties. They have a number of different owners of those properties. So it would make sense to have Sparklet Wars potentially in those cities. It is an opportunity for cities that have lots of structures already to see some utility for those structures. It's an opportunity for cities that don't have enough structure, don't have a lot of structures, to have some emphasis put in those areas to build structures out to compete in these contests. So it is a fun idea, and I like the fact that they're centering in Las Vegas at this time. I'd love to see that city get perked up a little bit. So very, very excited about Frost Season getting started. Let's take a look at that Flashy Flash challenge. So Flash challenges are short-term challenges. You have a short time period to get in and to participate. And they are going to be things that don't take much activity, don't take much effort to participate in, but they have the potential to reward you and the potential to put out and speculate ideas that might help the game and the team of Upland better do their job. As we prepare for the next year of Upland seasons, next year, that means that we have completed the first year, 2024. We went from Frost Season, which started in February. We went from Frost Season to Blossom Season, from Blossom Season to Genesee Season, from Genesee Season to Sizzle Season. Are we getting there so far? Sizzle Season, Harvest Season, Wonderland Season. Is that all 6? Did we miss one? I think we got it. So that we ran through our first season, 6 seasons throughout the year, first year. So each of those seasons was the first time we celebrated it. And now we're back to Frost Season, our second Frost Season that we've ever had in the game of Upland. And it gives Upland the opportunity to see how they've done in the first year, but also take the best, keep it, take stuff that wasn't the best or holes and opportunities for growth and fill those holes in. And I think it looks like Upland is trying to do some of those things. Of the last year, what has been your favorite Upland season or favorite season theme so far? This is a way of engaging with the idea of seasons in the game of Upland, putting it together, sharing it. Upland can read this. Upland staff members sometimes will take these as suggestions to better engage with improvements on the future of seasons. So take this seriously. But also, you could win a prize. Post your response in the Flash Challenge channel in Discord. And be sure to include your in-game name so you can get paid if you do win. We'll reward 10,000 UPX to 10 random participants. Again, what's key here is the word random. Participate. Be serious about it. Put in your thoughts. Maybe those thoughts help the game or the team do a better job next season. But anybody could win. You could say bologna sandwiches. You could win by participating. Please don't say bologna sandwiches. Make something serious. Help the game out. Help us out as other players. Put some great suggestions forward. Flash Challenge does end today, 11:59 p.m. PT. We got a couple hours left. Let's get in there and get it done, 11:59 p.m. PT. That's why we call it a Flash Challenge. We have a short period of time to participate in to potentially win that 10,000 UPX for 10 separate individuals. And of course, stay tuned for more news on the next Frost season. Again, we already have an announcement on the next Frost season. We have more to come on Frost season. We're going to get the cosmetic announcement, but we already have a theme for this season. That theme is going to dictate what the art style is going to be for this season. And that's Frost Dragons. And I like dragons, and I like frost, and I like ice, and I like seasons that tie to their theme. So I'm very excited about Frost Dragons for this coming season, for the Frost season from February 1st, running straight through to the 15th. Excuse me, 15th of March. So looking forward to it. Other than that, we are at Friday. We are at the end of, we're not at Friday. We are almost at the end of the week. At least for me, for this idea of the season is over. The Sparklet Wars is over. This is that in-between season when we get ready for a start of a season. It's that in-between period. And we are almost out of that time, getting ready for Frost season starting this coming Saturday at the beginning of the day anyway. So Frost season starting this coming Saturday. Events probably start at 9 a.m. PT like we've seen in the past. And we'll get more announcements between now and then. But it's good that we have this base layer. We know the start. We know how things are going to be organized, and we know what to look out for. And we're going to see more announcements throughout the season. So for tonight, thank you so much for being here. We do the nightly show here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT for Cafe Nightly in the Discord of Upland, Upland's official Discord in their cafe. We also broadcast obviously on YouTube, on Twitter as well. And of course, feel free to watch the show if you can't watch live on YouTube. And you can catch it on Twitter as well. Again, 7:30. There we go. 7:30 p.m. PT Monday through Friday. And of course, if you're in the Upland Discord Cafe, it is open. Feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.